Ladies and gentlemen, a limo has just pulled up, and the owner has stepped out, and he's talking to someone who's also in the limo. And oh, we see a Nightmare. Nightmare after the screw job last week from Damage. And who's that stepping? Oh, A-Bomb as well is here, ladies and gentlemen. After that beatdown, Jacob Drake as well, and Havoc. All members of the CWO are on the show tonight, despite being beaten up last week. They're all here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so fed up with everyone around me. No one seems to care. I'm just so far gone and nothing's gonna change. I'll never be the same. It's always do this, do that, everything they want to. I don't wanna live that way. Every chance they get, they're always pushing me away. It's never enough, no, it's never enough, no matter what I say. It's never enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to XWF Shockwave 21. We had a big show last week and a lot of crazy stuff happened. I'm a bit unorganized. I don't know what the matches are for tonight. I'm going to try and find out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nightmare, he's not even giving me a chance to freaking speak. Nightmare is making his way down to the ring right now. That's how we're opening show 21. He's obviously got a lot on his chest, and he's going to want to vent that anger, especially at the hands of Damage. Damage betrayed Nightmare and cost him, arguably, the World Championship on our 20th show. Nightmare's walking down, he's not looking happy. He's looking very empty without that world title. I'm not used to not seeing it on him. He's had it for so long, officially the longest reigning world champion in the history of the XWF, and now he hasn't got the belt. The fans are still booing him. They're booing Nightmare. I can't get it. I don't know why they would boo him. He's one of the greatest talents we've got here in the XWF. And Nightmare is walking over, he's signaling for a microphone. So let's find out what Nightmare's got to say. Nightmare says, last week, the biggest fraud in the history of this industry happened. First of all, Tommy T. Thomas revealed himself as the secret owner. That is true, and that was a massive surprise. No one saw that coming. And then Nightmare says, he then brought in Lord Lore from the old XWA in 2007 to fight me for the XWF World title. Now, I just about had that match under control, but when I was about to win, one of my long-term friends saw it fit to screw me over. That was a sickening sight. Sickening sight. And Nightmare says, Damage, you made the biggest mistake of your life with that choice. I don't know why Damage did it. I lost a lot of respect for the guy. And Nightmare says, if you even show your face in this arena tonight, the CWO will destroy you. I wouldn't go against the CWO. Damage, wrong side of the fence, wrong side of the fence. Nightmare says, as for you, Lord Lore, the owner's given me permission to have a rematch tonight, so that world title can come back to where it rightfully belongs, around my waist. And Damage, again, if you even show your face tonight, you'll face the consequences. Not an empty threat, I swear to God. Nightmare means business. I've never seen him that angry before. And, we're going backstage. Yashi Auditory and Ken Tariff here. Ken Tariff, the new No Holds Barred champion. He returned in a surprise return last week on the 20th show. Took Triple D out. Did a flip out the ring. Kneed A-Bomb in the head. Pinned him 1, 2, 3. And Yashi says, how does it feel? Ken Tariff says, I've been away for a while, but now I'm energized, and I'm ready to show the fans why I am the Lethal. And Ken Tariff says, now I've spoken to the owner, and there is 2 hardcore matches scheduled for tonight's show. The first one will be me defending my No Holds Barred title. The second one will be a gauntlet match. And that gauntlet will decide the next #1 contender for the no holds barred title. I love a gauntlet match, man. I'm looking forward to that. I really love a gauntlet match. And Yashi says, well, so there will be two hardcore matches tonight. That sounds brilliant. I'm sure all the fans will be looking forward to the matches. And Kentaro, I guess I'd better let you go. And Kentaro leaves, and Yashi is saying under his breath, like, oh, a gauntlet, a gauntlet. What's he talking about? You know, what the hell is Yashi talking about? I got literally no idea about that man sometimes. He makes no sense to me. But I like the guy, you know? I like the guy. I buy him a freaking drink. Oh, God, well, we're backstage with Junction and Inferno. My favorite. Great, great. Inferno says, you know, Junction, I just wanted to say fair play to you for winning the Internet Championship. You know, it was great. I'm really chuffed for you. You know, I saw your match last week when you defended it against Havoc. I wanted to say good work to you. Good luck. Oh, shut up. And Inferno says, you know, keep this up, and I think you will have a decent title run with that Internet Championship. Oh, my God, Inferno, he pulls this out of his ass. And Junction says, thanks, Inferno. I appreciate that. You know what? I'm not booked tonight, so how about me and you go one-on-one tonight for the Internet title? Oh, yeah, Junction, just give people shots. Just give it to them. Yeah, we're doing great credibility for the title. And Inferno says, yeah, alright, man. Let's put on a decent match for the fans. Put on a decent freaking... Oh, my God. Inferno's just saying, oh, yeah, we'll put on a decent match. Yeah, yeah. Just because he wants a freaking title shot out of nowhere, which he doesn't deserve. For God's sake, man, where do they come up with this crap? Really winds me up how they just make matches. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot Junction was the freaking commissioner. Either way, let's look at tonight's matches that are made by the owner. No Holds Barred Championship, Kentaro takes on Havoc. And then obviously we got this piece of trash. Junction versus Inferno. I wouldn't be surprised if Inferno gives the shot to someone else who he thinks deserves it. For God's sake. Then we've got the Hardcore Gauntlet match, which I'm really looking forward to, which will crown a #1 contender for the No Holds Barred Championship. And then our main event for the night is a return match where Nightmare challenges the new world champion, Lord Lore. And, you know, I think Nightmare's going to win that world title back to where it belongs, around his waist. So here we are now, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off with the opening match for this evening. The No Holds Barred champion, the lethal Kentaro, making his way down to the ring. Now, it was a surprise last week, because Kentaro, a man who we have not seen in the XWF for, you know, months, he just turns up in the No Holds Barred championship match, which was A-Bomb defending the belt against Triple D, and Kentaro turns up right at the last minute, jumps up the top rope, kicks Triple D square in the frickin' throat, knocking him completely out cold. Then he just runs, suicide dive over the top rope, spins in the air, knee straight to the skull of A-Bomb, and he gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. Now, I didn't expect that. No one expected it. But what I also didn't expect was tonight to see this man here, Havoc, from the CWO, get put in a match against Lethal Kentaro for the No Holds Barred title on the line. And this is obviously part of the owner's plan. This is one of the owner's booking. I can tell because it's amazing. And I really want to see Havoc win that belt because he shouldn't have lost the Internet title to Johnny Kamikaze. That was a fluke. I think he's definitely going to beat... what the hell? Oh my God, Kentaro diving over the top rope before Havoc even has a chance to get in the freaking ring and float over, jump over there, throwback type maneuver, slamming Havoc's head into the mat. And look at Kentaro with these vicious kicks, and oh my holy God, kicked him right in the side of the head. Havoc crumbled to the mat. The fans seem to be cheering for Kentaro here, just because he's taking on a CWO member. Ridiculous elbow guillotine there from Kentaro, rolling Havoc over, getting in the ring himself, leg hook for the cover. That's 1. That's 2. And that's a kick out on 2.5. You know, dangerously close so early on in the match. But Havoc was caught by surprise by Kentaro, but that's what No Holds Barred title's about. And what the hell is this? Oh my God! A sunset flip pin seesaw. That's 1. That's 2, and a kick out on 2 by Havoc. You know, great move from Kentaro. I haven't seen anyone do that for a long time, actually. You know, Kentaro, you know, Technical arm drag there, working on Havoc, caught him by surprise, the element of surprise, and now just wearing Havoc down. And look, there's another arm drag there, proficient there from Ken Tariff, picking Havoc up to his feet, goes for a kick, Havoc blocks it, and a nice dragon screw reversal from Havoc. And this is where Havoc is going to start making a comeback against Ken Tariff. What did I say? Look at this, put him onto his shoulders, turn him around, lines him up and just drops him down with a vicious Samoan drop and a great move from Havoc. You know, something I love about Havoc, right? He's a jack of all trades. He can be fast. He can be agile. He can be strong. He can be hardcore. He can be submission. He's got a bit of everything in him, you know. I'm not saying he's a master of any, but he's definitely a jack of all trades, and I would like to see him as the no-host bar champion. Ken Tariff off the top rope, drop kick there, right in the chest, knocking the air out of Havoc, going for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's going to kick out again on 2.5. You know, Havoc, he's got a lot of resilience, definitely. Ken Tariff throws Havoc into the corner and a vicious dropkick right in the jaw. Ken Tariff is looking extremely fresh. You know, he had a break. He was away from the XWF for a couple of weeks or so. And now he's absolutely dominating this match. Jumping over the top rope, going out to the apron. Once he got, he's looking underneath the ring for a weapon, you know, Ken Tariff. And once he got, he's got a steel chair. Rolling in the ring with that chair. Havoc up to his feet. Oh my God! A vicious shot to Havoc and some blood. Havoc bleeding from that chair shot. The fans cheering like hell. Tariff throws the chair out the ring and he goes for the cover. Could this be it? That's one. That's two. That's three. No, a kick out just before the 3 by Havoc. Havoc getting to his feet. Oh, he ran at him, but Havoc turned into a Manhattan drop. Clothesline neckbreaker style move there from Havoc. This is what I love about him. You give him a second, he'll turn it into his own. That's one. That's two. And a kick out on 2 by Ken Tariff. You know, Havoc is a soldier. Seconds ago, he took a shot to the cranium. He's bleeding, but he's fighting back. He is fighting back. Irish whip into a neckbreaker move there. Havoc picks Tariff back up to his feet. Irish whip, but he draws him in again. Another neckbreaker style move. You know, Havoc, he's so resilient. He's so outrageous. Bounces Ken Tariff off the rope. No, he brings him in another neckbreaker move. Using these maneuvers, the same one over again, to really punctuate an attack. The neck of Tariff, that's 2. That's 3. No, a kick out just before the 2 by Ken Tariff. You know, Tariff, you got to give it to him. He's kicking out of the attacks. He's kicking out of the offense from Havoc. But Havoc is going to stay on it. Look at this. Beautiful scoop slam textbook there from Havoc. Going again for the cover. Leg hook, that's 1. That's 2. And a kick out on 2 by Ken Tariff. It's not enough. You know, I'm going to say Havoc, get some weapons involved. Let's cause some mayhem. He bounces Tariff off the ropes. Look at this, another Manhattan drop style move from Havoc. Flips behind him. And look at this beautiful backdrop onto the neck of Ken Tariff. And he literally folded from the force. Havoc picking Ken Tariff up. Throws him into the corner, and what has Havoc got in mind? Running over a massive clothesline, knocking Tariff to the floor, and straight away continuing in with a beautiful elbow drop to the chest cavity of Ken Tariff. Havoc now picking Tariff up. He's totally in control of this match. Oh, look at that, a beautiful dropkick from Havoc. This is what I'm saying. Havoc can do a bit of everything. You know, you don't see Havoc do a dropkick like that a lot, but it took Ken Tariff cleanly off his feet, and Havoc's going for the cover. That's 1. That's 2. And a kick out on 2 again by Ken Tariff. He's showing great resilience here. Great endurance in a hardcore match. Arm twist from Havoc, and he picks Ken Tariff up. Look at this. Shin breaker move. A very efficient move from Havoc. And Havoc seems to be leaving the ring. You know, maybe he's going to try and find a weapon. He's looking underneath. What's he got in mind? What's he going to find? Oh, he seemed to got his eye on something. He's got a steel chair, and Ken Tariff up top. Oh my God, look at that. Kicks straight off the top rope. Kicks Havoc in the throat. Going for the cover. Could this be over? That's 1. That's 2. That's no kick out there by Havoc. It's just not enough. Great move from Ken Tariff. Right off the top to the outside, into the throat. The same move that he used to take out Triple D last week, but it wasn't enough to finish off Havoc. Havoc throws Ken Tariff into the audience barrier, and he takes a freaking crush off the crowd and just clocks Ken Tariff right across the side of the head with it. Absolutely vicious. Tariff was trying to get to his feet, but Havoc's got more ideas, putting him up for a Samoan drop. He's turning. What the hell? Oh my God, a Samoan drop into the steel stairs from Havoc. Oh my God, for the cover. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. No, a kick out just before the 3 by Ken Tariff. Unbelievable show of endurance from Ken Tariff. Somehow kicking out of the sadistic move from Havoc and an elbow over the apron. Havoc's rolling in. I don't even think he can believe Kentarev kicked out of that through the stairs. That's one. That's two. That's not a kick out again by Kentarev. What has Havoc got to do to keep this man down and become the new no-holds-barred champion? Nice Russian leg sweep there from Havoc. You know, I can't believe he did a frickin' Samoan drop onto the steel stairs. I just can't believe that. Havoc going underneath the ring now, and he's got a frickin' table. You know, no holds barred title matches, there are no rules. Any weapons can be used, and they quite often get bloody. As you can see, Havoc's bleeding. They quite often get dirty. They quite often get dangerous. Havoc setting up this table. Grabs Kentarev, a terrific kick! Right in the back of the head of Havoc. What the hell? Kentarev setting the frickin' table alight. What the hell, man? You know, this is the danger of no holds barred. Frickin' flaming tables. People are gonna get hurt. Jacob Drake with a chair. What the hell? Sliding in the ring. Oh my god, he just cracked Kentarev right in the skull. Jacob Drake leaving. Legend. Legend. And now Havoc is up to his feet. He's torning Kentarev up. Oh my god. Bolt of lightning through the flaming table. Amazing. Havoc going for the cover. This has got to be over. That's one. That's two. That's three, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new no-holds-barred champion, a deserving no-holds-barred champion. And you know, after all the shit that has happened to the CWO over the last few weeks, this is exactly what the CWO needed to prove to every one of you fans out there and everyone in the back and to Triple T, you know, Tommy T. Thomas, to all of you guys, the CWO have still got it. The CWO will always have it. Havoc, new no-holds-barred champion. Look at that, bolt of lightning through the flaming table. Absolutely sick. Slow motion. Kentarev, you know, no one would kick out of that move. Well done, Havoc. Well done. And now we're backstage. Oh my god, I'm liking it. Mike Jacobs pushes Inferno and he says, "Are you kidding me?" Mike Jacobs says, "You and Junction tonight for the internet title." You know, I know it sounds just as pathetic as it sounds, and Mike Jacobs obviously agrees. And Inferno says, "Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with that, Mike Jacobs?" And Mike Jacobs says, "Yeah, in fact, too right I have a problem with that. That is not a worthy match for the title. Titles are prestigious. Titles are decorated. Titles represent the best there is. You and Junction are not and will never be close to that level." You know, Mike Jacobs, please tell him. And Inferno says, "Alright, Mike Jacobs, you think that I'm not good enough for the internet title." And Mike Jacobs says, "You're not even near good enough for any title." And Inferno says, "Alright then, how's this? Me versus you tonight." Inferno is challenging frickin' Mike Jacobs. And Inferno says, "If you beat me, you can have my #1 contendership for the internet title." Oh my god, Inferno, he's a gambling man. Look what happened last time you gambled. You got burned. Mike Jacobs says, "Silly move, boy. I'll see you in the ring." And he leaves. Because Inferno, you put all your playing chips on the red. Mike Jacobs is the black. You're going down. Ladies and gentlemen, that's official. Up next, #1 contendership for the internet title. Inferno versus Mike Jacobs. You know, silly Inferno. Look what happened last time he made a stupid gamble. Oh, look at me. I'm Inferno. I'm this close to becoming the world champion. But I think that Dr. Khan was screwed, so I'm gonna give him a match here, and if he wins, he can have my shot. And Dr. Khan beat him, because you're an idiot. For God's sake, Inferno. He doesn't learn, does he? I bet it'd be terrible in a casino. Oh, here's my money. Let me put it all on 5 blue. Frickin' blue? What the hell am I talking about? This is how angry Inferno is frickin' making me. Let me find a better, you know, a better analogy of what I'm trying to say. Inferno goes into a casino, puts all his chips on black. The board is only red. There's no black frickin' segments on the frickin' board. But Inferno still does it. Oh, I'm an honorable man. It might land on red. It will never land on red ever. For God's sake, man. You know, this is when Inferno, he winds me up. He's pathetic. And Mike Jacobs, I hope you smash Inferno tonight. Teach Inferno a freaking lesson. He thinks he's so good. Mike Jacobs is one of the best in the industry. Does Inferno own his own wrestling school? No. Does Inferno have a no-loss record at pay-per-view? No. What does Inferno have to his name? Not a freaking lot. Not a freaking lot. What does Mike Jacobs have to his name? A lot. That's all I'm saying. So Inferno, he comes down in his little hood, sticks his little elbow, does his little taunt. The fans are all cheering for him. We want to see Inferno beat Mike Jacobs. We want to see Inferno go against Junction. We want to see Inferno as #1 contender for the Internet Championship. It ain't happening. I will put money on it. In fact, let me just find my wallet. Give me a second. Just counting through my notes. Right, I will put $100 right now. $100 in my hand. I got it here. I will put that down right now. Mike Jacobs will win. If Mike Jacobs loses, I don't care. I will shred them dollar bills. I will shred them because that's how certain I am Mike Jacobs will win this match. Ref rings the bell. Inferno. Oh my god, a massive clothesline from Inferno. Capturing Mike Jacobs off guard. Look at Inferno clubbing the hell out of Mike Jacobs. You know, Inferno's getting early offense by surprise, cheap attacks. You know, this is exactly what Inferno's about. Oh, and he knees him in the frickin' ribs. Are you kidding me? Inferno for the cover, that's one. And a kick out on one by Mike Jacobs, because he's a machine, and you ain't gonna pin him. Look, Mike Jacobs blocks the attack, turns it into his own, and the whole tides of this battle have turned. Mike Jacobs beautiful scoop slam on Inferno, and the fans are booing. Well, they're booing because Mike Jacobs is doing wrestling moves? Oh, okay, let's not cheer for Mike Jacobs. Let's cheer for Inferno because he runs over, punches Mike Jacobs at the start of the match, gets on top of him, pound, 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 I'm gonna punch him. Then he whips him and knees him. He frickin' kneed him in the stomach. Not a wrestler. Mike Jacobs is one of the best wrestlers there is. Oh, Inferno, a knee to the face, original. Frickin' original. Elbow to the back of the head. Great wrestling move in a wrestling match. For God's sake, Inferno, this is coming from a man who wants to be the #1 contender for the Internet Championship. A championship about wrestling. And he's not even wrestling. He's taking on someone who could be considered a god of the ring. And he's not even wrestling him. Look at this. Oh, and a shoulder block when Inferno moves, sending Mike Jacobs cascading into the turnbuckle cover. Inferno goes for a clothesline to the back of the head, but Mike Jacobs saw it coming. The two men locking horns. Mike Jacobs will win the top. What the hell? Inferno, but no, Mike Jacobs turns into an armbar, and Inferno turns into an armbar of his own, grabbing Mike Jacobs, going for a clothesline. Jacobs ducks under. You know, Mike Jacobs, he knows what's coming, is always one step ahead. Dropping to his knees, a jawbreaker. Inferno didn't see that coming. Mike Jacobs, he's so good, man, he's so good. Irish whips Inferno into the turnbuckle. Mike Jacobs, shoulder block, bludgeoning the rib cage of Inferno, and he couldn't move out the way quick enough. Mike Jacobs goes for a clothesline. Inferno ducks under, locks aside, headlocking on Jacobs, but Jacobs turns it into an arm twist. And Inferno kicks him in the stomach. Great reversal, and drops down with a face buster. You know, Inferno, he can't out-wrestle, so he has to use cheap toe kicks. Brings Jacobs in and knees him in the stomach. Wow. And now Inferno, you know, he drags him in again, but this time he actually uses a wrestling move. So well done for that, Inferno. You know, that's probably a second wrestling move that you've done. Actually, back rakes him. He freaking back rakes him, and the fans cheering. Why are they cheering? Oh my god, he drops his head onto his knee. I don't get it. Mike Jacobs is a wrestling god, a wrestling genius, one of the best in the XWF. The fans boo him. Why they boo him? Because he's got an opinion about people. He's entitled to it, but no, the fans boo him. But then they cheer Inferno, a man that uses knees and elbows as a weapon, and he can't even wrestle. Look at this, a freaking knee again. It's sickening. If this is what the Internet title is degraded to, I might quit XWF for good. Massive clothesline from Inferno. Goes for the cover. That's one. That's two. And a kick out on two by Mike Jacobs, because a pathetic clothesline is not going to be enough to pin a legend like Mike Jacobs. Blocking Inferno's punch. Good on you, Jacobs. Good on you. Side headlock. Inferno goes for a punch again, but Mike Jacobs fireman carries him over the shoulder with vicious tenacity. And look at this. Vicious side belly to belly from Mike Jacobs, using real wrestling moves to wear down. Inferno went for a punch again, and Mike Jacobs saw it coming. Another fireman throw, and a clothesline from Mike Jacobs, teaching Inferno a lesson, and another one. Mike Jacobs is dominant. Look at that, an elbow to the forehead. You know, I don't mind if Mike Jacobs uses his elbows, because at least he uses it alongside wrestling. That's two, and a kick out on two by Inferno. You know, Mike Jacobs earns the right to use these sort of strike maneuvers, because he's also wrestling. Inferno, you know, he doesn't do anything, he just punches. He can never hope to be a wrestler as good as Mike Jacobs. Look at this, Inferno. Clubbing combo, a kick to the ribs, and what is this? Oh my god, he's picking Mike Jacobs up. Look at that, my shoulder breaker. A freaking shoulder breaker from Inferno out of nowhere. Inferno rolling Jacobs over, getting the leg hook. That's one. That's two. That's three. No, a kick out just before the three by Mike Jacobs. At least Inferno used a decent looking wrestling move for the first time in the match. Picks Mike Jacobs up and he just punches him in the side of the mouth. Well done, well done. Irish whip off the ropes on Mike Jacobs, and Inferno runs in a nice neck breaker there. Pretty good move. I'll give him that. And now he's dragging Mike Jacobs to the center of the ring, going for the cover, gets the leg hook. That's one. That's two. And a kick out on two by Mike Jacobs. He's so resilient. He's so hard to keep down. But Inferno, he's staying on the attack now. Look at this. Another wrestling move. Oh my god, a backdrop. Nice force. Nice force. I give him that, Inferno. But, it's just not enough to keep a man like Mike Jacobs down. And look at this, Inferno. Another spinning backdrop that time. And Mike Jacobs folded from the force. And Inferno picking Mike Jacobs up to his feet again. And look at this. Drops Mike Jacobs' head onto his knee and turns it into a spin-around neck breaker there, dropping him down backwards. Quite forceful. He put a lot of power into that move. Mike Jacobs is looking stunned from it. Inferno getting the leg hook. That's one. That's two. That's three. No, a kick out just before the three by Mike Jacobs. The fans thought it was over. They were counting the pin so loud throughout the arena, but Mike Jacobs just was so strong to kick out. Now Mike Jacobs using a great combination of punches there. He bounces Inferno off the ropes. Mike Jacobs, he leans down, but Inferno kicks him square in between the eyes. Side headlock from Inferno. Jumps up and crushes the face of Mike Jacobs into the mat. And Inferno picks Jacobs up to his feet. Throws him into the corner. What's Inferno got in mind? Grabs him by the arm, draws him out, and clotheslines him, almost decapitating Mike Jacobs. And Inferno, he is setting the crowd on fire. He is warming Mike Jacobs up for an explosion. But Mike Jacobs blocks under the arm, locks the arm over his head. Viperplex on Inferno with great force. Inferno has got nowhere to go. Mike Jacobs hooks the leg. That's one. That's two. That's three. It's over. Mike Jacobs is the new, deserving #1 contender for the Internet Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day because I don't like Junction as the Internet Champion. He doesn't deserve it. We've had some horrible runs with that belt. First Johnny Kamikaze, then Junction. Mike Jacobs is going to be the one to end that. Mike Jacobs is going to give credibility back to the title. This night is shaping up to be brilliant because on top of that good news, I've also just heard that because we've had Inferno Mike Jacobs, that was the time slot for Junction Inferno tonight, so that match is now cancelled. We're not going to have to endure Junction Wrestling. Love it. Backstage now, Yashi Auditory interviewing Luke Loins, and Yashi says, Luke Loins, you have been having a great run lately with several big name victories. You have beaten the likes of Havoc, Damage, and you even beat Big D last week on show 20. And Luke Loins says, damn right I have, and it won't stop there. I don't care who's holding that world title, whether it's Nightmare, whether it's that Lord guy, it doesn't matter to me, because I will be the next XWF World Champion. And one day Luke Loins is going to wake up from this dream world, because he's never going to be the champion. And Yashi says, you're not booked for a match tonight, Luke Loins. Would you be interested in entering the Hardcore Gauntlet match that is booked up next tonight? And Luke Loins says, my sights aren't set on the No Holds Barred title for now, so no, I will not be entering. In other words, Luke Loins is a pansy who's scared of hardcore matches. That's why he's not entering. And Yashi says, good. Well, thanks, Luke Loins. Thanks for talking to us. What the hell? Why is he acting so shifty for, Yashi Auditory, the funny little guy? And Luke Loins says, no problem, Yashi. Anytime, buddy. Anytime. I'll catch you later. Yashi, he's acting strange. I don't get it. He's just such a funny little guy, Is he acting strange or is he just being himself? I don't know. But Luke Loins leaves anyway. Good, get him off our screens. Let's move on to something more important. I'm getting something in my ear. We're going backstage now to the owner's office. Let's find out. Here we go. Oh, it's Drake and Havoc walking in. The owner says, guys, come in. And the owner says, just the guys I wanted to speak to. First off, Havoc, good work on winning the No Holds Barred title. Good work to Havoc. I'm really happy for him. He deserves that belt. And the owner says, that's a much needed boost to the CWO, so well done for that, Havoc. Now, as you both know, I was trying to talk to you guys in the limo on the way here, but Nightmare wouldn't let me get a word in sideways until his match with Lord Lorry's rematch, until that was made official. Which is now official. You don't have to worry about that. The owner says, now guys, listen, I'm glad you're all okay after last week's anonymous beatdowns. I don't know who it was, but I do have an eyewitness backstage on Show 20 who has come forward to me now. Our only lead is that the guy that beat you both down and A-Bomb last week has red hair. I'll keep an eye out. We will get to the bottom of this. No one will do such a thing to the CWO. They will be found out and they will be punished. But for now, I need you guys both guarding the arena from Damage. We don't want him getting involved in the main event. Drake says, fuck Damage. We will keep him out the arena. So fair play to Jacob Drake and Havoc. Either way, up next, Hardcore Gauntlet to decide the next #1 contender for the No Holds Barred Championship. I'm looking really forward to it. So let's find out who the first two competitors are for this Hardcore Gauntlet match. And it's Dominic Spade in at #1. A man I'm a big fan of. You know, I love the Poker Kings. I think they're a great team. Dominic Spade has expressed a little bit. He said, you know, I want to be a singles wrestler a little bit. Poker Kings aren't splitting up. Poker Kings is still my main focus, but every now and again I want to do a bit of singles. So he wrestled in Aftershock, you know, and now he's entering this gauntlet. Nothing wrong with that. Fair play to Dominic Spade. Wait a minute, I'm getting a report here. We're gonna get a camera backstage. Wait a minute. Can we get that camera? There it is. Havoc backstage, guarding one of the entrances. You know, obviously, so Damage cannot get access to the arena. A-Bomb there on a different camera, guarding a different entrance to the arena. And Jacob Drake guarding a third entrance to the arena. We're pretty locked down tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Damage is not getting in the arena. You know, the owner doesn't want Damage getting interfering again like he did last week on Show 20, screwing Nightmare, because we all know Nightmare's better than Lord Lore. And without Damage's help, Lord Lore will lose to Nightmare tonight, and Nightmare will take back what is rightfully his, the XWF World Championship. Now, moving back to the gauntlet match tonight, I think it goes without saying who the next competitor is. The man, Triple D. And you know, Triple D's been having a pretty bad run. I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of hopes for Triple D. He has a lot of promise. But I think, you know, he started off really well in the XWF. I think he's definitely had a bad run. Lately, especially, you know, we've seen him lose countless matches. He hasn't really made a mark for himself, you know. Is he losing credibility? I don't know, because at any moment he could snap and he could turn into a machine. Could tonight be that night? Could tonight be the night where he takes back what's his, you know, and shows the world that he is a dominant powerhouse? Or is, once again, he going to draw the short straw and lose potentially what could be a great shot for him tonight? Dominic Spade going straight in on the offense, catching Triple D before he realizes what's going on. Side headlock from Dominic Spade, and another one, just using these elbows to bludgeon the back of Triple D's head. Triple D blocks it, knees Dominic Spade in the stomach, and look at this, throws Dominic Spade over the top rope. Vicious power from Triple D. You know, every time he gets in the ring, something clicks in his head, and look at this. Oh my God, he throws Dominic Spade over the steel stairs with horrific force. Triple D picking those stairs up now. Dominic Spade getting to his feet. Oh my God, he just clocks Dominic Spade right in between the eyes with the steel stairs. Triple D going for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. It's over. Triple D gets his first elimination, and that was the dog. The freaking dog is in the gauntlet match. We haven't seen the dog on Shockwave for, well, since about episode 2, I think. This is crazy, and the dog, he's just busting out some moves, you know. He's getting groovy in the ring. I think he's sort of forgetting this is a no-holds-barred gauntlet. Not really time you want to be freaking dancing, but he's dancing, and Triple D's come in, locking in a deadly defying drop. The dog, man, I love you, but that was fucking stupid. And he gets deadly defiant dropped by Triple D. Rolls the dog over for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's it. The dog is eliminated, and now Skinner making his way down to the ring from Bronx Bunny. No, Skinner, oh, a chair shot right between the eyes of Triple D, taking him clean off his feet. Could Skinner get the cover here? He goes for the pin. That's one. That's two. That's three. No, just before the three, Triple D kicks out. It's not enough. But Skinner Picks Triple D up to his feet. Look at this combination of punches from Skinner fighting. I think Skinner, if he puts his mind to it, could take Triple D out of vicious elbow. Skinner, one of the most vicious men in the XWF. No conscience. No conscience at all. Headbutting Triple D, and Triple D actually loses balance and collapses to the mat. Skinner going for the cover in this gauntlet match. That's one. That's two. And a kick out by Triple D. It's not enough. Skinner picking Triple D up. Oh, and Triple D, the strength. Skinner went to pick him up. Oh my God. Triple D, a flapjack into the steel stairs. Face first on Skinner. Going for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. Skinner is eliminated by you freaking kidding me? Don't get me wrong, I love Yashiao Tori, but this is a no-holds-barred gauntlet match. The guy is gonna get freaking killed. And Triple D, he's not even pulling any punches. He's getting a freaking table out from under the ring and setting it up. I don't know what to say. I wish Yashiao Tori just wouldn't get involved. I don't want to see him get hurt. I like the guy. He's funny. The fans like him. But he's got to learn. He's not a wrestler. And getting involved in a match like a no-holds-barred gauntlet, this is where the big guys come out and cause chaos, cause mayhem, cause pain to their opponents. This isn't an arena, this isn't a platform for Yashiao Tori to get himself out there. Yashi, you're doing the wrong thing, you're making a mistake. Please, listen to me. Turn around, go back to the locker room, have some sushi or something. He's running towards Triple D, and oh my gosh, oh my God, he just threw him over his head 8 feet into the sky. Went through a freaking table. That's one. That's two. That's three. Oh my God, Yashiao Tori is eliminated. Poor guy. Poor guy. What the hell? Tim Morgan! The Morgan from the crowd threw a drink in Triple D's face. I've seen the UK representative for ages. A DDT on the outside by the Morgan. The Morgan going for a cover. This is brilliant. That's one. That's two. That's the Morgan eliminates Triple D. I love it. I did not expect the Morgan to be here. That's brilliant. Oh, Clowner. Wait, that's my freaking guitar. Clowner. Clowner. Clowner just hit the Morgan with my freaking guitar. He's broken it. That's one. That's two. That's three. No, I'm not having this. I'm not. That's my freaking guitar. Right, that's it. Oh, freaking lip. Oh, Clowner there just... Oh, God. Hitting the clowns away on Bruiser. That's one. That's two. That's three. Freaking hell, man. What the fuck? Clowner didn't have to freaking hit me that hard. I'm freaking nosebleed and everything. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Who's laughing now, Clowner? Who's freaking laughing now? Because Big D's the next man in. I'm glad he got eliminated, because this would have happened to me. Big D, choke slam on Clowner. Choke slam on Clowner. Big D going for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. I'm going to have to speak to Clowner about my freaking guitar, man. I can't believe he broke it. He gave me a freaking nosebleed. Can't believe he gave me a freaking nosebleed. Didn't have to hit me like that at all. Curtis Clubs now, the next man in this gauntlet. So far this gauntlet's been amazing. Kendo stick right in the face of Big D from Curtis Clubs. Curtis Clubs going for the cover. Could this be over? That's one. That's two, and a kick out by Big D on the two is not enough to keep him down. Curtis Clubs picking Big D up. Look at these massive clubbing fists. Curtis Clubs is using a combination of punches. Big D blocks it. Oh, Big D! He's locked it in. Choke slam on Curtis Clubs. Spins him around. Choke slam on the outside on Curtis Clubs. Horrific from Big D. Big D goes for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. Big D eliminates Curtis Clubs. Who's next? Ken Tariff runs down. He's already had a match tonight. But obviously he wants that no-holds-barred title. What's the top rope? Kicks Big D right in the throat. He's lifting Big D up to his feet. Terrific kick. He got his foot up that high. Hit Big D in the back of the head. Ken Tariff for the cover. Could this be over? That's one. That's two. That's three. No, Big D kicks out just before the three. Ken Tariff gets to his feet. Big D. Big D, the machine that is Big D. Chokeslam on the outside on Ken Tariff. Unbelievable strength from Big D. Going for the cover, that's one. That's two. That's three. That's it. I'm getting in my earpiece that there is no more official people on the No Holds Barred Gauntlet match. Big D wins the gauntlet. You know, to be fair, man, if I'd have seen the Big D was in the gauntlet, I probably wouldn't have even bothered getting involved, but I think it was still unnecessary for a clown to use my guitar and to punch me in the face like that. I'm bleeding still, for God's sake. What the hell? The supernatural Matt King? What the hell is his video playing on the stage for? He's got no business here in the XWF. And here comes Matt King! Chair shot to the face of Big D. Big D getting to his feet. Oh, Matt King, he's locked it in. Serenity, oh my God, he nailed it. He nailed it on the stage on Big D. Big D is completely out cold. Matt King for the cover. That's one. That's two. That's three. Why did the ref freaking count? The match is over. So what, does this make Matt King the new #1 contender for the No Holds Barred title? How freaking convenient. He turns up at the last minute. You know, I'm sick of these XWA guys coming back and thinking that they own the place. Look at that serenity on Big D on the stage. Big D didn't even know what hit him. I've got no idea what the hell Matt King is doing here. Probably something to do with Tommy T. Thomas. Either way, forget Matt King. Let's move on to the main event, which is up next. World Championship rematch, Nightmare versus Lord Lore. And we're going backstage now. Nightmare in the owner's office. And the owner says, Nightmare, I've got Drake, Havoc, and A-Bomb keeping watch on who comes in and out of the arena. It's just you and Lore tonight. I assure you, Damage won't be present tonight. There will be no interference tonight. It's just down to you. And the owner says Damage made a silly move by screwing us over like that last week and siding with Tommy T. Thomas. Personally, I thought better of Damage. But for now, let's just focus on your match with Lord Lore tonight. Win that XWF World title back into our possession. You know, the owner's a man on a mission. And I think the mission's going to be successful. The owner says, oh, and Nightmare, just quickly. Did you see the Hardcore Gauntlet match that just went down? And Nightmare says, yeah, I saw it. And the owner says, Matt King, XWA, red hair. I think we need to keep an eye on Tommy T. Thomas. You know, he's pulling some dodgy strings around here. I'm not liking it. And Nightmare says, yeah, I thought of the exact same thing. I think we have a culprit for last week's attacks on the CWO members. So wait, red hair, oh, I see it adds up. They're thinking it was Matt King who beat up the CWO? God's sake. And Nightmare says, I don't know what Tommy T. Thomas is planning, but either way, whatever he's planning, forget it, because tonight I'm going to win that belt. And the owner says, yes, Nightmare, go. Nightmare, you know, I'm confident Nightmare's going to win that belt back tonight. You know, last week it was an absolute Slavanaka, Nightmare versus Lord Lore, but Nightmare stood his ground against one of the best wrestlers the industry has ever known. Speaking of that man, here he comes, the lethal litigator, Lord Lore, the current World Heavyweight Champion. Whether or not he deserves it is a different matter. Personally, I don't think he deserves it. You know, the fans, they don't know. Are they supposed to be cheering for Lord Lore? Because some of them are cheering. Obviously, he beat Nightmare, which a lot of people wanted to see the belt off of Nightmare's hands. A lot of people think Nightmare didn't deserve the belt, that he won it cheap. But Lord Lore, you know, his whole career, he was a bad guy. His whole career, the fans hated him. Same with Tommy T. Thomas, you know, the fans never liked Tommy T. Thomas, and now, this whole rivalry between Lord Lore, Nightmare, Tommy T. Thomas, the owner, they're all bad guys. I mean, who are the fans going to get behind in this battle? Because right now, they're not cheering for Lord Lore, you know, I heard some boos, and Nightmare now, his pyro, his music's playing, he's making his way down to the ring, and you can hear the fans are booing Nightmare just as much as they were booing Lord Lore. You know, there's not a man that the fans are really behind in this battle. But obviously they're here to see some good wrestling. Whether they can get behind these guys or not, it doesn't matter because they will put on a good show. You know, last week it was absolutely intense and I could not call that match at all Then Damage got involved. Well done, Damage, for ruining what potentially could have been one of the greatest showdowns of, of this industry in a long time. And Damage has to stick his nose in on it. You know what? Don't know why Damage did that. Why would he sell out the CWO? Why would he sell out Nightmare? Why would he sell out the owner? Damage has lost a lot of respect to you. Used to be one of the best wrestlers in the XWF. Used to be one of my favorite wrestlers, and now you threw it all away, threw it all down the toilet, man. I lost a lot of respect for you. Don't know why you did that, man. Don't know why he did it. Damage, I wish I knew. I wish I knew, and I wish I could tell him. Damage, come on. Come back to the CWO. All will be forgiven, but I don't think he's going to do that because he's a sellout. Either way, the ref rings the bell. Nightmare versus Lord Lore. Let's go. Lord Lore with this combination of punches goes for a kick. Nightmare blocks it, spins around, clothesline right in the throat of Lord Lore. Great move from Nightmare. Lord Lore taught Nightmare a lot of what he knows, but Nightmare has defined and refined what he learned from Lord Lore, and he's now using it to his advantage. Punches Lord Lore into the corner. Nightmare just using a combination of punches, but Lord Lore blocks it. Heavy punches from Lord Lore. Look at this combo. A kick to the ribs. An uppercut from Lord Lore. Big boot Nightmare over the top rope. Unbelievable strength. Lord Lore follows Nightmare out. Oh, look at that. Nightmare just grabbed a chair from the audience. Clocked Lord Lore around the head. 3 shots. 3 shots, and Lord Lore is still standing. Nightmare throws him into the steel stairs. Lord Lore crushed over the steel stairs. Nightmare's got another steel chair after that one broke. Oh my god! Lord Lore picked the steel stairs up and just launched it into Nightmare's forehead. Nightmare crumbled to the mat, and Lord Lore dropped the steel stairs on his kneecaps for the cover. That's 1. That's 2. That 3's so close to a 3, and Nightmare gets a shoulder up. This is already brutal. This match has only just started, and these 2 men are going at each other. Lord Lore suplexing Nightmare onto the steel stairs, clipping his leg on the stairs. Horrific from Lord Lore. No mercy from this man. He rolls Nightmare into the ring. Look at this. Guillotine elbow over the apron right in the throat of Nightmare. And Lord Lore just grabbed that chair and he throws it in. Throws it into the ring. Lord Lore going for the cover. That's 1. That's 2. That's just before the 3. Nightmare kicks out. Nightmare's in a bad way. Taking a steel stair. Shot to the face and a big boot there. Lord Lore hit Nightmare in the face with the steel stairs. Then suplexed it onto them at a chair shot. Vicious move from Lord Lore. Nightmare bleeding already. The match has only just started and Nightmare's bleeding. That's 1. That's 2. And Nightmare kicks out on 2. Great resilience and endurance from Nightmare. But he's looking injured and worn down already. Lord Lore headbutting the wound. The blood trickling down Nightmare, a crimson mask that he is wearing. Lord Lore's got that steel chair. Nightmare gets up, grabs it out of Lord Lore's hand, runs in. Oh my god, a massive chair shot to the face of Lord Lore. Nightmare frickin' throws the chair at him. Lord Lore up to his feet. And Nightmare, look at this, leg hook. Look at that T-bone suplex. Beautiful, beautiful move from Nightmare. Lord Lore's bleeding from that chair shot as well. That's 1. That's 2, and a kick out on 2. Both men bleeding already minutes into this match. Just to show you how physical these 2 men are going at each other. A beautiful backdrop from Nightmare onto the neck of Lord Lore, and he folded over. Nightmare picking Lord Lore up to his feet. And again, locking in another beautiful backdrop right on the neck of Lord Lore. Again, folding over. Nightmare for the cover. That's 1. That's 2, and a kick out on 2 by the Lord Lore. It's just not enough to keep him down. Picking Lore up to his feet, throwing a combination of punches right in the jaw. Beautiful move from Nightmare. He kicks Lord Lore down, locks his head under his arm, spin around neck breaker. A great move from Nightmare, taking control of the match. He lines the floored Lore up and drops an elbow into the shoulder. Vicious move, and another one from Nightmare. A great way to wear your opponent's body down. Nightmare tried to pick Lore up, but he punched Nightmare right between the eyes. Slipping behind Nightmare, a waist lock, locks in a backdrop and drops Nightmare right on the shoulders, knocking the air right out of him. Picks Nightmare up to his feet and a big boot right in the side of the face. Nightmare did a backward roll from the pressure. The strength of Lord Lore is insane. Heavy combination of punch, kicks, uppercuts, shoulder blocks, everything. Lord Lore is pulling it all out of the bag. Slips behind Nightmare. Look at that! Oh, and a backside slam, and he drops Nightmare's head onto that steel chair. Horrific. Great force. Lord Lore going for the cover. Could this be over? That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. No, Nightmare kicks out just before the 3. It's not enough. Nightmare wants that world title, and he is not about to let it go. Another backside slam there from Lord Lore, vicious move, Nightmare looking devastated on the mat. And what the hell? Lord Lore, oh my god, no! The death sentence, his signature submission hold. Nightmare scratching, clawing toward the ropes, crawling for the ropes, desperation, millimeter by precious millimeter, reaching out as far as his fingers will stretch. He's got the ropes, he's got him, break the hold. No, he doesn't have to, it's no holds barred. Nightmare's, it's not gonna help, but Nightmare manages to kick Lord Lore off out of desperation, picks him up. Nightmare locks it in. K effect on Lord Lore. Out of desperation. Out of pure... What the hell? Damage! How did he get in here? Chair shot to Nightmare. Oh my god, what the hell? What the hell is Damage doing? He's locked Nightmare's foot in the chair. Oh my god, he stomped on the chair, crushing the ankle of Nightmare, and Damage is leaving. How the fuck did Damage get in the arena with everyone locking it down? Lord Lore walking over. Oh no, no, no. He's locking in the death sentence again. He's locking it in. No, no, no. This is not looking good for Nightmare. This is not looking good. The agony, the expression of pain on his face. He's got nowhere to go. It's no holds barred. The ropes aren't going to save him. Nightmare in pain, in agony. Look at him. He can't hold on. He can't hold on. The pain in his face. Lord Lore applying the pressure as hard as he can. Nightmare, look at his expression. He's got nothing left in attack. He's tapped out. Nightmare taps out to the death sentence, and Lord Lore remains the XWF World Champion. I can't believe it. Damage screwed Nightmare again. You know, Tommy T. Thomas is laughing all the way to the freaking bank. And yet again, the CWO are screwed. Injustice is served against my man Nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the XWF, a show which started so well and ended on such a low note. Tune in next week. I'll see you later.